What is up, you guys? My name is Madison. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Today's video is going to be kind of like a bookshelf tour, but also like an updated how many books have I read on my shelf. Yeah, I don't remember what I called this last time, but I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna give you a bookshelf tour. And then there's also, so I have a closet that's just like full of like, it's like my little like reading nook, okay? It's just what we're gonna call it. But in there, I have this little basket full of like children's books, and then also books that I stole for my job because I wanted them. Yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna give you the tour first. We'll flip the camera around, give you the tour, and then we'll go through each and every one of my books. Don't mind the fact that it's actually kind of a disaster because I have too many books for this tiny little shelf. I also have books over there that I completely forgot about, but I'll show you those too. I figured I'd just start over here. It's right next to my bed. But under here, I have some books that I wanted one of my friends to read. And then I have my Bible, and I have some cookbooks. But I have The Graveyard Book, The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic, A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman, and The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson. This is one of the best books I've ever read. Okay, back to my actual shelf. Up here, I kind of just have like miscellaneous things. Here's a box set of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I've read the first one and I wasn't like the biggest fan of it, but my mom got it for me because I was like sad and I was like, you know what, I'll give it another shot. And here, this little like container was a gift from my sorority little, and I keep a bunch of like bookmarks and stuff in here, like my giant paper clips. I love them. I have two $50 Amazon gift cards in case of emergencies, but I'm keeping them there so I remember that I have them because I have a really bad habit of losing them. I have my Generation 3 Clear Denial doll from my dad, my Stanley that's broken, like the top doesn't go on, and when it does, it gets stuck. And then I have my trinket jar. If you want to see that, let me know, and I might make a video for my TikTok. And then down here, also, my books are color coordinated, sort of. So, yeah. Up here, this is my TBR stack. So this is the books that I want to read this month. Book I already read that would go in the black section, but obviously think that's full. And here I have like regular bookmarks, and then like I have bracelets that I made. Also, I low-key stole this cup from the lacrosse stadium. Least they could do for messing everything up for me. Then I have pretty much all of my white books and then a fun pink book because it didn't fit anywhere. More black, yellow, red, pink, white. And then as you can see, it's double stacked. So I have more red, pink, purple, blue, more purple, more blue, and green. And I want you guys to know that I'm also using this video to reorganize my bookshelf because I will be pulling all of my books off shelf by shelf to show you what's on them. Now, I will say there's a pretty big distance between my shelf and my bed, so like I have to sit kind of weird. I would sit right here, but if I sit right there, then everything looks weird. So I am gonna have to unfortunately sit in front of my shelf. Let's actually get started now. I'm gonna start off with the bin next to me because everything that's in here is probably just gonna stay in here. I do have trinkets in here. I have a little bunny that I also stole for my job, and I have a pride flag that I stole from my roommate. The first two things I have in here are the Monster High Pride and the DC Pride. So I have Torla and Claudine, which still doesn't make sense to me, and then obviously Harley and Ivy, which makes sense to everyone. Next, I have some really like fun children's books, just because I work with kids, and I feel like these are just classics that everyone needs to have. So obviously I have Goodnight Moon, which is my brother's favorite book, and I need to remember to bring this to work with me because we're learning about things in the sky. And then I have The Summer Before Boys by Nora Raleigh Baskin. I've never heard of this, but it just didn't make sense because the oldest age there is 5. So I just was like, you know what, it's mine now. I have Madison Finds a Line by Sunny Warner. I only got this because we share a name. I have Fancy Nancy Sees Stars, and I have Fancy Nancy Poet Extraordinaire. And then the last one I have is Angelina Ballerina and the Tea Party, and I love Angelina Ballerina. The other things in this basket, mind you, all of these I took from my job out of preschool. Yeah, anyway, so I have White Fragile by Robin DiAngelo. I think this would be a perfect time to bring it back. I have Diversity in Early Care and Education. I feel like my old boss could really get a kick out of that one. And then I have The New Early Childhood Professional. And then I have, finally, We Can't Teach What We Don't Know. I'm going to pull everything from this top shelf. Also, they're plowing outside because there's a foot of snow on the ground. So if you hear that, I'm sorry. I have the worst windowsills, seals known to man. So I'm just going to take this down. First, I have The Lynx Attila by Harley Wilde. I liked this book. I did, in fact, read it. Also, I'm going to tell you whether I read it or not. And then I'm going to go shelf by shelf, and then in total, how many books I read and how many books I haven't. And then I'm going to look up the percentage of that because I can't do quick maths. But yeah, I did read this. It was okay. I had it in one of my reading blogs. Obviously, I haven't read any of these because this is my TBR. I have Hunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton, which is the second book in the Haunting Adeline or like cat and mouse duet. I have Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I was about to read it and I was like, I need to film a video, so I haven't read this yet. I have Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I am just completely restarting this book because I feel like I need to. However, I do really, really want to read it still. But I'm going to count this in the unread section. And then I have ACOTAR by Sarah J. Maas. Obviously, this is my January poll. I have not read it. And I will say, I have read most of these books. Like, the majority of my Black books, I have, in fact, read. I have The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane by Julia Noble. I have, in fact, read this. It was good. I have Light Lark by Alex Astor. I haven't read this yet. I really, really want to. I don't know how I want to read it, because at first I really wanted to listen to the audiobook. But then I was like, no, this is high fantasy. That's what I heard, like, from her. But I also feel like I've heard a lot of, like, romance in here. So I think because of that, I want to physically read it so I can, like, actually, like, grasp what I'm reading. Next, I have the entire Lancaster Prep series. I have, in fact, read all of these. I don't like spicy books. These are fantastic. I read all of them on Kindle. I just took the rest of them off the shelf. Next, I have the Giver graphic novel. P. Craig Russell. He did an amazing job. I highly recommend. I have read this. Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. Obviously, I read this. The Collector and the Collected, I have not read. Verity by Colleen Hoover, I have read. I actually surprisingly did enjoy this for a Colleen Hoover novel. However, the ending sucked. Tender as the Flesh by Agustina Bassetercia, have not read. Sleepers by Lorenzo Carcetera, have not read. And Priest by Sierra Simone. I have read this. I read this immediately after opening it, and I read it in one sitting. Okay, and on that shelf, I have read 11 and haven't read 8. I just pulled the white and one random pink book stack off of the front of that bottom shelf, so we can just go through those together. Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, I have read. The Real Lolita by Sarah Weinman, I have not read. Confess by Colleen Hoover, I have read. This book was kind of weird. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, I have read it. Strange Unearthly Things by Kelly Cray and All Our Hidden Gifts by Carolyn O'Donoghue, I have not read. The Secret History by Donna Tartt, I have not read. Also, I have the Graveyard book over there. I have read that. And I have read all 3 of these, so I will count that in my total. However, just know that you probably won't see them. Just know that I've read them. Okay. Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I've listened to the audiobook, don't remember jack shit because it was like almost a decade ago. Oh my god. I feel so old. So I'm going to count it as a no because I don't remember what happens in it. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, I have not read. Frankenstein and Dracula, I have read them. I graduated high school. Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll, I have read it. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, I have read it. And I kind of want to reread it. The Mysterious Benedict Society by Trent Lee Stewart. I found out that they took the show that they were making off of Disney Plus, so I'm going to have to pirate it. But I did read it, and I did enjoy it. Bunny by Mona Awad, I have read it. A Crane Among Wolves by June Her. I would recommend this until my dying breath. I have read this. Interesting Facts About Space by Emily Austin. I did read this. It's in my most recent reading blog. Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. I have read it. And finally, Love the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. I have read it. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it was cute. It was cute, guys. Off of that shelf, I read 13 books and I haven't read 6. That's pretty good, guys. To the bottom shelf, you obviously can't see it, but I'm gonna pull them out in chunks and tell you if I've read them or not. First, I have Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I have read this. I don't remember much from it. Next, I have Normal People by Sally Rooney. I have read this. Not the biggest fan of it, but that's okay. We know what quotation marks are. You can use them, bub. I have Collide by Balcabra. I have not read this yet. Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. Obviously, I read it. Obviously, I love it. Once Upon a Queen by Sarah Arthur. I haven't read this yet. I really, really want to. I have The Champions by Cara Thomas. This is the second book to the cheerleaders, which is actually, fun fact, the one that got me out of my reading slump and got me into reading after an entire year of like half reading books. And then I have The Girl from the Well by Rinchi Pekka. This book was phenomenal. This book was phenomenal. I have read it. Next, I have Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. I haven't read this yet. Steel Striker by Marie Lu. I haven't read this yet, but I really want to, and also this cover is gorgeous. I have My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I have read this. I do believe this wasn't a reading vlog. Next, I have The Haunting by Natasha Preston. I also believe this was in a reading vlog. Next, I have The City in Glass by them. I'm so bad at Asian names. Like, I want to say her name is Givo. I don't think that's correct. Okay, guys, I looked it up. And if it's correct, if I am correct, if the pronunciation that I looked up is correct, it's Nevo, and it's Vietnamese, which I probably could have put together that it was Vietnamese from the last name. But for some reason, I thought that the first letter was silent and you went off the second one, but that's my own mistake. Don't be like me, guys. Do your research. I haven't read it yet. Next, I have The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I haven't read this yet. And then I have The Only Girl in Town by Ali Condi, which I haven't read yet, but I really want to. Like, I want to like sit down like in my bed all cozied up, and I want to read this book. Next, I have the second book to The School for Good and Evil, which I have not read yet. The Diary of Anne Frank. Obviously, I've read this. Again, I graduated high school. I have It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, which I have read. I have like 3 copies of this book, and I don't know why. This is the one I have here. I know one is back home signed by one of my friends, and then there's the one that I bought. And then I have Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, which I listened to the audiobook for this, and I don't think that that was a smart idea because I did not like the audiobook. And I feel like that came out as like I didn't like the book, but I also feel like I just wouldn't like the book if I reread it. Y'all know what I mean? I have another copy of Peter Pan. I have You Reach Sam by Dustin Tao. This I have read. I have We Are the Wildcats by Siobhan Vivian. This was pretty good, actually. And then I have Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. I have dreams about this book, which is funny because when I first read it, I hated it. When I reread it, and then again and again and again, I think about her a lot. I have The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, which I have not read yet. I have The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu, which I have not read yet. And then I have the first book for The School of Good and Evil, which I have read. Colleen Hoover, Reminders of Him. I have read this. Stars and Smoke by Marie Lu. I have read this. Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. I have read this. Finally, The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood. I have not read this. That's it. That's all the books on my shelf. Whoa. Now, in my final count, obviously I said I'm going to count all the books from over there. I'm going to count these. However, I'm not going to count the ones from inside the closet, like the children's books and like those books. Not going to count those. Those are just there. Those just exist in my room. Okay, now let me count. Well, actually, let me tell you how many books I have and haven't read from that bottom shelf. I have read 17 books from that shelf, and I haven't read 13. So, that's pretty crazy, guys. Now I'm going to count them all up total. And I have to go do some math. I hate math. So, total, I have read 46 books. And I haven't read 28 books, which I think is crazy because that's a lot of books to be on this tiny little shelf. So roughly 38% of my books I haven't read yet. So I have that TBR that I need to deal with. Yeah, but I think that's really good. Like, I have 74 books total. I haven't read 28. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now I'm gonna put all the books on my shelf. Hopefully they look neater, and hopefully you enjoy them more, because looking at them originally made me want to like cry. And here is the final shelf. I still got 2 rows on all of the shelves, but at least it's easier access now. Okay, I think it looks fantastic. Anyway, that's all for today's video. Here was your setup. That was your setup. That's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe down below. All my social media is also down below. If there are any videos you would like to see, any books that I talked about that seem to interest you, let me know and I can make a video, or I can put them in a reading vlog, something like that. Yeah, and anyway, that is all for today's video. I will see you next time, whenever that may be. Bye!